Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu-Sweeties.
We're longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which can be a little peppery, a little acidic, a little bitter, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hello.
What are we doing, Wa?
We're talking about Love After Lockup, season 4, episode 36, Car Chase from Hell. Monique is such I hate her.
Okay, watching Monique drive this car made me, it was kind of like watching Bowser a little bit like drive in Mario Kart.
She is irrational and she had at some point, if I were the producer, I would have just been like, can you just drop me off? You're not doing a good job. You're not doing a good job keeping us safe. You are being irrational and you're not, I don't know, it just like ugh.
Well, it's first of all, it's not her job to keep anyone safe, and it's that security guys. First of all, let's just obviously talk about Monique and Derek because we're already talking about Monique and Derek. So, yeah, like a lot of this is crazy. I can't believe how many times we cut to the cameraman's face with the long hair. Like we cut to that man's face. Okay, well, let's just go back, shall we? Okay, so last we pick up with them, honey. They are in Monique's car that she has rented. It's like, and she has pulled up to let Derek go visit like his grandmother that's like sick or something. But while Monique is in the car, a white car pulls up next to them and is like has tinted windows and is like checking them out. And at one point, last episode, like the very end, someone in the car is like, "Hey, Derek," and then everyone. So then the producers jump into the car, one on the side and the passenger side, one in the back. They make Derek jump in the passenger back. They can't even get a camera on him. And it's like, quick, go, go, go. We don't trust this white car. And everyone gets in the car. And then we pick up of them from this episode of them just rushing away as if they're in a movie, as if they're like just in the middle of an action movie, honey. I don't even tell you, Monique driving, it's bananas.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like if you choose to drive, then you are responsible for those people in your car and keeping them safe. So just her erratic behavior, like, okay, but here's the truth. We end up finding out, and like, I mean, at this point, I don't care if we kind of jump around with this. I know I'm usually the stickler for the linear story, but I hate them so much that I don't want to spend too much time on it. But Chris, don't let me stop you from spending time on it. She runs red lights because she gets scared. She like doesn't want to make right turns because she's scared. Just like jumps over train tracks. She acts like she's like the Dukes of Hazzard, and she's like driving some vehicle that doesn't have 4 people in it, including her. Yeah, she's just doing a lot of crazy moves in a car filled with a lot of people. And as you know, like I don't know, I just feel like I don't know. Anyways,
wait, and as I know, I love that what you were about to say. And as you know, I'm very like into driving, into responsible driving. Like, well, what should I know about your personality when it comes to driving?
oh no, I guess what I was gonna say is, as you know, if you have a car and there is like, okay, it's one thing when you're driving a car solo dolo, you can speed and do whatever, mainly because A, it's only your life at stake. B, because the car is lighter. The car is literally lighter. So you can make all these maneuvers and have it not flip or have something crazy not happen. But when you have 4 people in a car plus whatever amount of baggage or whatever amount of fucking, I don't know, camera stuff, that car is heavy. And she's trying to pedal to the metal with a car that has at least 700 pounds in it and is like,
She didn't ask for this. She didn't ask for this. She's doing the best. She is doing the best she can, and she didn't ask for this, honey. She just dropped her boo off at a hospital, and she has been like fielding everything. So yeah. So okay.
Chris,
So we're
you
in the
don't think she
car.
asked for it? Okay, hold on to your thought. You don't think she asked for it by dating a felon and then threatening to fight his family?
Wait.
Dating a felon and then threatening just, I'ma beat their ass. I want to talk to him, I'll beat their ass. You don't think she asked for this? Okay, now finish your thought.
Woo, honey. No, I wasn't expecting the impression, but I got it, didn't I? Um, So, like, yeah, as we're saying, I don't know. Listen, she's losing her goddamn mind. Like she's driving over train tracks. What ends up happening is like the white car is chasing them, and like at one point they stop at like a red light, and the cameraman sees that the people in the white car like open their doors and like get out to like approach their vehicle, and they're like, go, 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 Monique, go, and she's like, and she's just like crying, and just like.
And then she wants to call the police, knowing that her boo could go back to prison. And she literally says, Derek, I don't care.
Yeah.
No, ma'am, then you need to get out of this life. If you ain't about this life, then you ain't about this life. And like also the cameraman is a pussy. Like, and I hate saying that word 100%. Like, they're getting out of the car. What are we gonna do? I'm like, you're being racist. Like, it's like, what do you think they're gonna do? He's like, oh my God, we're in Cleveland. We're around a bunch of black people. They're getting out of the car. They're gonna shoot us. Like, come on now.
I mean, he was, yeah, I can't believe how much they showed him. I was like, oh, is he now a character? Like, is he, I mean, like, I can't believe I'm watching so much of this man's reactions. The editors decided to cut in. So anyway, so then the whole thing is like, we're going to go to this space and the security's going to meet up with us. Okay. And then Monique's like, well, will security jump in my car with me? And they're like, yes. So then that's what happens, right? They go to a place and the producers leave the car, and then security jumps in the car, and it is a like little, not little, it's just like, it is like a young dude. He looks like he's like 22, maybe. Like, I'm sure he's packing, because no other part of looking at this guy just like kind of just sitting in the passenger seat would look intimidating to anyone. In my mind, I was like, does he make you feel better, Monique? I mean, that person would make me feel better,
Also, why didn't she just let him drive? Like, what's the point of having security in the car with you if they're not going to be the ones actually like maneuvering the vehicle? Like, what are they going to do? Like, what was the security guard going to do in a moving vehicle that was going to save you? Is my question.
True, but I can see Monique being like, "You're not on the contract at Enterprise," or whatever. So then, okay, so yeah, so that's what happens. They get back in the hotel, and they, whatever, they like don't die. And then the next morning they wake up, and this is where Derek drops, the producer's fave thing. Derek out of the blue, which we figured the whole time, the whole time they're like, oh, the white car, who's in it? And like Monique is like, it's your sisters, like over and over again, your sisters. And the other, like, what, and so as the audience, we're like, the other possibility is that maybe it's like some dude that, or some gang thing, I'm sorry to be whatever, that he upset in the streets before. Like, that's what they're making us think, and like, like it's upset at him before. That's what I thought.
The whole time I thought it was the sisters setting her up. Yeah, I never, because it was a woman's voice, and he's only been out of prison for like 2 nights. So unless one of those 2 people that he dabbed up on the streets went and told everyone, and then someone called one of his cousins and was like, where is Derek? Like, let's set Derek up. Like, I didn't think of it that far, but interesting. Go ahead. I didn't think of it that far.
But like now he's like, it's a secret who it is, and now it very much feels like it's a biddy that like he used to F with, who's like wants to have him back, or like wants to like fuck up his boo thing with Monique.
And he knew that, and he purposely told her to drive off because he didn't want any drama. But there ended up being drama anyway, of Monique being so scared. And so the next morning they get to the hotel. He's decided that he would like to go off on his own, and he's got to get out of her prison. And I'm agreeing with her. I mean, truthfully, we find out at the end of the episode that he's actually doing this to go see that boo thing. But I was happy for him to Uber, and she got so upset. Like, are you serious? I'll just drop you off. And he's like, no, I would like to get some stuff on my own. And she's like, well, I'm changing everything. We're gonna get a new car. I'm gonna stay at a new hotel. I'm changing everything. I just like.
He's like, I gotta get away. She's suffocating me. I gotta get away. I gotta get away.
Yeah, she's suffocating us.
Yeah, no. And also this whole time she's talking, she is wearing this green dress and one of those like hanger straps, like those plastic hanger straps, like the rubber ones. It's just like hanging from
is
the
it?
armpit. And I just want, it's like those really easy ones, like maybe from Target or something, that's just like you can just grab it and just snatch it away. And like the entire time of that scene, I was just like, can I just grab it? Can I just, I love that snap. It's a great snap, you know? So, she also is like, I'm going to extend actually my trip because I don't want you to get hurt. Like, I want to make sure you're okay. So I'm going to extend and make sure that I stay longer. And he's like,
No.
yeah, I just got to like go do some errands
But like
without you.
she is so I don't know, she's so gross to me. Just like the whole I want to stay with Derek because I want to make sure you girl, you we just saw the color of your medal last night. And now you think for whatever reason you staying here is going to prevent anything? It's like how are you going to be a control freak and a scaredy cat at the same time? If you weren't willing to like drive go ahead.
No, you're right. I guess in my mind, I'm like, yeah, she very much seems very naive and like she definitely feels like she doesn't know anyone who's ever been in jail. Like, like this is a whole new world to her in every part of it. She's scared. Sorry.
And she just wants to like be in control though. And I'm like, girl, you can't. If you're gonna be there, then you're gonna like you're gonna be about it. But obviously you're not. Like yesterday you freaked out instead of, figuring out a way, or I don't know, girl. I mean, listen, I'm not saying that I would have known exactly what to do, but here's the truth. If I'm going to be dating a felon, I have to recognize that I'm not going to have control over him once he gets out of prison because I've watched too many seasons of the show to know that you can't control them and that you have to expect the unexpected. And that was one of those things, and she didn't handle it well. You know who also didn't handle something well? I mean, do you have something else to say about them?
No, I was gonna move on. I can't wait to see who you're gonna move on to.
Nathan. I
Oh.
like couldn't. Nathan and Skylar. This is him of that from that night. So maybe not her. This is her in a confessional. But like, yo, his I don't understand why people just can't be like, "Oh no, it's over. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, you've embarrassed me in public. Oh no, I'm sorry. No."
Yeah, I mean, it's she's living with him and stuff like that. She feels like what somewhat indebted to him, and I also feel like maybe she feels somewhat responsible in a fucked up way for his mental state, which is not stable. So yeah, let's go on to them. And then okay, so sorry. Yeah,
we
Nathan and Skylar, honey. So sorry, go ahead.
No, we just start off with her hollering at him to wake up. So she gets to the house after not knowing where he is, and I guess he's been asleep for 4 hours or gone for 4 hours. And so she gets to the house. Her and Gracie pull up, Nathan, and then she gets into the room and sees him asleep. And her natural reaction isn't to be like, "Oh shit, he's asleep." Her natural reaction is to be like, "What the fuck? Oh my god, Nathan!" And he's like, I don't know, Chris. Whenever you see that anybody is asleep, isn't it your automatic like thing to back up and feel bad that you interrupted them?
Yes, of course, unless it's a producer. This is why I hate this scene because she started calling him at like 1:30 and it's 5:30 this timestamp. Now, that's 4 hours, a long ass nap. Now, the second thing is that the producers put in a scene of when she was calling him of his cell phone on a table ringing with no one answering it. I want to know how long the nap is, true. And also B, I feel like this is also fake, which is obviously what I'm getting at. B, I think, or C, whatever. I can't even talk. Everything is fake. But also I want to talk about the fact that, um, yeah, this was like set up to make us feel like he had died and he just like had taken a long nap, you know? And which is like crazy. I was wrong last episode when I said I wouldn't like her hair. Her hair color looks really, really good. He thinks it looks good. He's either like, yeah, you look pretty. She's like, I got pretty for you. Or what did she say? She said, I got all pretty to go out with you, which was like the most like 1950s thing possible to say. And I was like, oh, really? For him, you did that? I don't think so, girl. You got that for yourself. Of course you did. You just got out of prison and you knew exactly what kind of like tone of hair color. You weren't like, Nathan likes it icy. No, it was like, bitch, you like your hair cool toned. Okay. So they get to this place. He's been saving up 5 months for a ring. And he starts talking about how he wants to of course be engaged to her. At one point he says he looked into 500 Elvises being pushed out of like a plane or something. I don't know what it was, but in my mind I was like, you can't afford that, you know that. It's a
500
thing.
Elvises falling from the sky, and I was like, "What is even that?" I just had to let it go. At my mind, it wasn't people; it was like dolls, and I was just like, "Okay, I'm not even going to go down this path of whatever," because I'm still mad at the fact that she is like, "You got me so stressed out." Like, I thought you were dead, and he's like, "I feel really bad that I stressed her out, but I was just asleep." And he's like, "Yeah, she's acting like I was cheating." I was like, I hate them.
Yeah, no, I don't like them. Um, so they get to this restaurant, like on the pier or whatever. It's actually really pretty. And this woman comes over. I guess she's a waitress. Not her name is a waitress. But Skyla's like, this episode has a couple of similar themes. Sorry, let me say this. One theme is that we'll find out from our probation officers what our parole looks like. Also, another similar theme is first drinks. We get to have our drinks. So she gets to have a drink, right? She's like, "Oh, what kind of wines do you have?" And then one of the first things this crazy waitress says is like, "We have a strawberry lemonade, blah 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 blah." Blah. And I was like, What is that? What did you just say?" She asked you what kind of wines you had. I don't understand what you just answered her. What a weird thing to say. So then, what? Well,
No, I'm waiting.
okay, because your mouth is open. So it
I
looks like
know.
you are.
I'm waiting for you to get to the part where I want to jump in, or I'm like, is she gonna say what I want her to
I
say?
got
Go
it,
ahead.
got it, got it. So then I'm like, that's disgusting. And don't you ever fucking like, so that's not the answer to like what kind of wines you have. And then Skylar's like, okay, do you have a rosé? And she's like, yeah, rosé, rosé. So they get rosés, honey. Okay. And this woman brings him over, and like he orders, okay, so he orders a steak. In my mind, I was like, he ordered a strip. And I was like, oh, you need a red wine for that. She orders like two apps, like a fucking like, I don't know, artichoke and something else. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Rosé. And she's like watching her weight. Who knows? So then they bring it, so he wants to toast. The wine gets here, and the toast is to our health, freedom, sanity, which I'm like, oh, he said that, and all the positive things we have. And they put the wine down, and the food comes, and then some dude FaceTimes her right as the food's there, and he's like, my steak's gonna get cold. She's like, oh yeah, just start eating it. I don't care, and just picks up the FaceTime.
Wait a minute.
Okay,
This is what I thought you were gonna say that you didn't say.
I know. I was
They
like,
get this rosé.
yeah,
He pours it like it's champagne, tilted to the side, and I'm like,
it's not bubbly.
no, you don't need it. Also, he fills the glass. I mean, they just the tallest, the highest pour of any glass of wine I have ever seen in all of my days. I was like, wow. He pours it to the side. He's like, Madame, like, and I'm like, there's no froth, sir. You don't have to like avoid the fizzy at the top. Just pour the wine. Put that glass down so that you don't get it warm, and pour the wine, and then he just fills it all the way up to the top, to the point he fills it up so much to the top that when the server comes back, she's like, you want another bottle? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, y'all about to have a hee-haw good time.
A hee-haw good times. What
Because
a very specific, but
yeah,
very
a hee-haw good, because I was just like, y'all are giving me just like a very specific part of that town. Yeah, so that toast is crazy. Then she answers she's texting, and he gets upset, and instead of using his words, he just like, oh, so this is what you're gonna do? And she's like, yeah, go ahead and eat. Like, oh, I'm not stopping you. And then she goes to answer the FaceTime. Granted, this is her first day out of prison. People are contacting her. She's obviously a social butterfly, and she goes to answer it. Now, was that rude of her?
yes.
Yes. Was his reaction justified? No.
No, it's very interesting because I think that one thing is this is what I initially thought. He obviously has an anxiety disorder, a panic anxiety disorder. I don't know why he doesn't know that. He very much does. I mean, that's what's happening. Please, dear God, get some help. Okay. And I get it. Second thing is he feels less than for her, right? He's very insecure around her because of the money thing or whatnot. God bless. So in this moment, she is making him, it is disrespectful what she is doing. And especially because it's a dude that she FaceTimes. This is their first dinner together, and they're together as a couple. I think it's incredibly disrespectful. We talk about this a lot, and whatever. It's not. It's like it's not that it's. I will say for him, I think it's disrespectful person to person. For him, I think he thought of it as emasculating, which is a word we use a lot. And the reason why I can say this for him is because he starts going into, I'm not a bitch. And the reason why I think he's saying that is, you can't answer the phone and FaceTime with another man as I'm sitting here. It's incredibly disrespectful to me as a man, as the man that you're with, or as a person. We could say person, but I think that he's not in those kind of like gender neutral terms. I would assume, Nathan is at a different place, right? So Nathan is saying, I'm not a bitch. You can't fucking treat me like I am. That's not what you do to a man that you're with, I think, is how and so it's very hard for me to do it. And she is dismissive. She's not being like, oh, it's affecting him, or oh, I'm sad. And it's interesting because both of them want the other to like acquiesce. She wants him to understand her PTSD and why he has to like comment, or why he has to tell her where he is at all times. And I don't know how long the nap is or whatever. And I don't know if he put his phone on do not disturb. I definitely do. But I don't know if she's seeing that the phone's like do not disturb, whatever, God bless. So in this moment, he's saying, you can't just be disrespectful to me because our dinner just came here and it's our first date together, and what's important is like our relationship, not some dude you're gonna FaceTime when my steak is here. I'm not gonna sit here and just eat my food while you're talking on the phone. It's not nice. And I think that that's very much right. He can't use those words, and he's taking it as an insult and like and everything, I think, like goes in. Then he talks to the dude, and dude's like, if she wants to talk to me, just talk to me. And he's like, wants to be like, I'm her boyfriend and we're eating, asshole. So no, So anyway, yeah, he's grabbing the phone from Skyla. He's talking to whatever dude. She's like, he knows him. Why is it a big deal? He's like hanging up. This person keeps calling back. I never understand every time. And half of it is like, because I think the editors are adding in the ringtone of like someone calling. So I'm just like, to me, if you already have the audacity to grab someone's phone and answer, then I, at that point, would have absolutely no problem just being like, flick.
Yeah.
How's the artichoke?
Yeah, yes, I can't wait till we get to a place in the society where, and I just did it in Monique's segment, where we stop using feminine terms as weakness. Like I just called the camera guy a PUSSY. I can't wait till we get there because when he did it, I was like, what do you mean you're not like, what does that mean? Like, and I know what he meant, right? Yeah. And but I think that what it is if he had said, hey babe, I just feel really disrespected, can we just please have this dinner by without any interruptions? Like, I know you want to see all your friends and stuff. It does make me feel insecure that you're talking to a guy, so that's a conversation we'll have later, but if we could just please get through this dinner, just me and you, then I don't know that her response would have been defensive and saying no, because I understand why she was like, why are you being this way? And it made him even more upset, because I would do the same thing too. And it's petty, and she's being petty, but like it was because his reaction is so like, you can't yell at me in public and then expect me to do what you say. Like that's all that it is. Like, if you're feeling a certain way, say it to me and I will adjust. Yell it to me and I'm going to have to defend myself. And that's what I feel like she was kind of doing. Either way it goes, though, they're both assholes. And he gets up and speeds off and keeps being like, where are you going to come? And she's like, no, I am eating. Bye. And instead of him just taking that his tactic didn't work, at every step of the way, he turns around and he's like, you're not coming? And she's like, nom, 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 nom. And he's then like, he finally leaves. And then she's like, nom, nom, nom. And some guy comes over and gives her a shot and is like, fuck that guy. And all the guy does is give her a shot. Like, it's not like and then Nathan calls. She picks it up while dude is giving her a shot so that Nathan can hear the dude say, yeah, here's to getting out. Nathan gets up. He's like, I'm down the road. She's like, I'm eating. And he then flips a bitch and comes back and is like, what are you doing? What? And she's like, you are embarrassing me. Nom, nom, nomming. Go. I will Uber. And here's the truth, Chris. I get what you're saying, that she feels indebted to him, but she has options because she could go with her mama.
I know. No, that part. No, I know that. And it is interesting. So that's why I was like,
she likes drama.
She's not indebted to, it feels like she's not indebted to like his money. It feels like she has an emotional obligation to like make sure that he's okay,
which is not good for her sobriety.
Absolutely. And maybe listen, it could be patterns that she deals with other, relationships she's had. And obviously there has been some negative consequences of this, like maybe a toxic kind of teeter-totter of codependency. I don't know, I mean, there's some work to be done, Anyway, so listen, I don't like well, I don't know. I want you to start. I can't wait to not talk about the couple that I can't wait to not talk about a little bit, but I want to know who you want to start with next.
Listen, I will do, you know who's really fun? Eris and Cameron. Let me just run through Gabby and Chris. Like,
That's who I don't care about
Yeah,
at all.
I'm gonna run through them. Let me just run through them real quick. You chill, sit back, relax, do what you gotta do. Let me just get through it. All right. So, Gabby and Chris. Okay, these two stupid idiots. So we wake up the next morning and we have Chris has slept on the couch, y'all, and he's like, this ain't right. I gotta get right with my family, because Gabby's my queen, and we slept separately last night and I want to fix things. So he gets up and he goes into the kitchen and he's like, I'm gonna make us some breakfast. And he goes to make some coffee, and we're just like, this, first of all, for her living by herself, she got a lot of food in that house. And I was just looking around, I'm like, wow, Doritos and everything, Lipton's instant iced tea on top of the refrigerator. She got a lot of stuff in this kitchen for someone who lives by themselves. And she had these dishes in the strainer. So I said, good for Gabby. And so he brings her a juice and a brownie as her breakfast. And the juice is in a red solo cup. So I'm like, is she like, what's her, April, Ashley, Tiffany, whatever her name is, it was Travis, and she don't got no cups. And so I'm like, juice, what kind of juice? Juice and a brownie. So she's like, listen, this is not breakfast. He's like, in prison, this is breakfast. And she takes the juice and he's like, come on, man, we're married, and I want us to make up. So she gets up, she goes to make some bacon, and she's like, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend, we're married now. So you got to act as such, you got to act like that. And I'm like, man, he's been in prison for 6 years. Before that, he's also, is his mother married? Does he even know what marriage is? Has he ever seen a positive example of marriage? Has he ever seen a good example of any kind of relationship? Like, why is it that people tend to think that everyone should just know what it means to be married? No, we don't know. So he says that Gabby is his dream woman and he prayed for her. So then they start to make out, and then she gets dressed and he's like, where are you going? Why are you dressed up? And she's like, no, I'm going to go see my mother. And so he's like, all right, well, I got to go do what whoop-de-whoop. So he goes downstairs, he walks down the street and he sees a car that he's like, is this not my car? This is not her car? Why did she say it was in the shop? So then he calls her and he does a FaceTime. He's like, is this your car? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, well, why are you lying to me? And she's like, I didn't lie to you. And I'm like, that's a lie. You lied to him again. So he tells her to come downstairs. She comes downstairs and she's like, well, I mean, I got caught up. So what happened is the police pulled me over, and while he was giving me a speeding ticket and I wasn't speeding, I sped off and took off. So my license is suspended. And he's like, why are you lying to me? Then she says she got caught up in something else. And he's like, what are you doing, selling drugs? And she's like, I'm not having this conversation. He's like, Gabby, you got to be honest with me. And she's like, stop yelling at me. He literally wasn't yelling at her. He was just trying to get some answers. And that's her automatic thing, is stop yelling at me. And I don't like when people gaslight. So it's annoying to me, Wahima. It's annoying to me, Wahimalino, that she does all this. And finally, she ends up telling him that she, whatever happened. And then they hug it out. She goes to see her lawyer, whose name is Montel Figgins, which is like the craziest name. It's like half like, Montel Jordan and half like J.K. Rowling. It's like a character from, if J.K. Rowling were to write about an American wizard, black man in the wizarding world of America, his name would be Montel Figgins. Is that not true? Is that not a Harry Potter character who's American? If she were to just take the Harry Potter series and bring it on over to the States, somebody in whatever the American Hogwarts version would be named Montel Figgins. So we've got this lawyer who, she's like telling him what all she did, how she got in a fight in New Jersey and she wanted to save her cousin. And they were drunk. So she assaulted the bouncer, who I guess happened to be some kind of officer girl. I do not know. And it's like, she acts like, oh, I tried to be captain. I'm like, no, girl, this is on brand. This is on brand for you. You fighting anyone who is bigger than you or any kind of authority, drunk or no, is on brand for Gabriella, whatever the fuck your name is.
The terroristic threats. She all and I'm sorry to laugh. In my mind, when she tells a story, I see it all. Like I see every moment. Yeah, her drunk, horrible, cousin starts yelling at someone, and then she feels like she has to have her drunk, horrible cousin's back. And then security is like, "You small, dumb bitches, drunk, horrible people have to get out." And she starts talking shit to him, and who knows what she pulled out to say horrible to him, but she's drunk out of her fucking mind. And the police comes, she starts fighting with the police officer, screaming like she has no repercussions, and like she has the audacity. And I hate to say it, it gave me like uh the like weird ethnic Karens that one, like there was like that one like last year that there was like the
Ethnic
Maya
Karen?
Pinto. There was, she reminds me of like this like kind of, I don't know. There was these women that like, I forgot Maya something or other, that like the girl that like accosted the jazz player's son at a New York hotel. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
Gabby kind of gives me that kind of vibe of that
Yes.
type of girl.
Yes.
That
Yes.
it's like that kind of thing. So anyway,
Yes. Yeah,
I,
I definitely could see it happening. And
yeah,
she sits in front of this lawyer and she's like, "Well, actually what happened is I was driving on a suspended license and I got a ticket. And then I got another ticket because I did it again." And I'm just like, "Yeah, you were somebody who doesn't think that rules and laws apply to you and
mhm,
that you're going to always try to
mhm.
get away with things." And it has somehow worked up until
Same.
the past 3 years of your life.
I am so thankful that she has all these repercussions to deal with,
And I'm
because
thankful she doesn't have kids.
oh yeah. But I'm just gonna say the reason why I'm thankful is because when people have that kind of mindset, it's like hard to be, it's like that's the kind of people that scream at people all the time. It's just like that's not the society I want to live in. And so I'm happy mildly when like things work. I'm like, yeah, like let her know that there are repercussions, like to all of her bullshit. Like, yeah, let her be taken down a notch so she doesn't do that shit in the future. Like I don't want to
I
be
think
the
she could
bar that she's screaming at.
I think she will continue to always do this stuff because I think she thinks it makes her cool. Also, we've got a situation where she doesn't understand that lawyers practice many different types of law and usually not the same. Like, so if someone is a lawyer that you would get for a criminal, that is not going to also be a divorce lawyer. So no, he doesn't handle divorce, but he can put you in contact with somebody who does. And she's like, yesterday I would have said yes, I want a divorce, but today no. And I'm just like, then that means you should get a divorce. If you were ever even considering getting divorced, then you should probably just get one, because if it changed from day to day, then it's a problem.
It
Like,
changed moment to moment. I'll tell you the exact moment she was like, maybe I won't get a divorce from him. Remember when he like was like, do you want some of this candy? And she was like, yeah. That she's like, that's it. That candy looked yummy. I love like a gummy, maybe snaky. You pull it apart. Maybe it has some like sweet and saltiness on it, like like a sourness to it. Like she had stocked her entire like
oh,
kitchen for him.
you didn't think I talked about that?
Great.
The amount of snacks that single woman has is astounding, because like I'm like, "Oh, I don't have," unless she's just the kind of person who is like, "Listen, I grew up in a household with lots of siblings, and so in my household we always had Lipton's instant iced tea. We always had Doritos. We always had 5 different types of cereal in the cabinet. And so as an adult, I'm requiring all of that to feel like my kitchen is full." It's crazy.
I couldn't believe I was like, I was my mind, I was like, "Oh, she did that for him." I think
Oh,
she did it for him.
oh, good.
Fresh bacon? I was like, "This bitch buys fresh bacon all the time?"
Yeah, I do. I
Oh,
mean, yeah.
I didn't say you. I know you do. You're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that bitch. I
Yeah.
mean, you are that bitch, but in a different way.
Right, you're right, you're right. All right, let's move on to Cameron and Eris. because theirs was cute. Did you find theirs cute? I did.
Yeah, I did. I also took a picture of the sisters' wardrobes, honey. So let me add that.
I
Um,
mean, so we start off with them um not going to the hotel. They go to the studio so that he can lay down some tracks, but he's like, "Listen, you are going to sit on my face as soon as we can, but I have to lay down these tracks and I also have to buy a suit cuz we're getting married." So he goes to the studio, he meets up with some of his boys, and I'm thinking that Eris is going to just be like Monique and all the other women that we get on these shows who get mad, Justine, Gabby, they don't want you to see anybody but them. But no, she's like, "Listen, the only thing I don't want him to do is to be drinking and shit." And she tries to talk to him about his drinking, and he doesn't seem to understand. He's like, "Oh, I can have a drink." And I think to myself, come on, we're adults. Let's just go on ahead and admit that yes, there are some of us who drink because we enjoy the taste, but the rest of us are drinking to feel good. So like, or we're drinking to forget. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not drinking to just like enjoy the notes of this wine. Like we are maybe if we're having like a steak and we got to drive home. Yeah, we get a little, but we still get a little buzz. And so for him to act like, "Oh no, I'm just gonna drink because like I like the taste," like shut up. You don't like the taste of no Patron. There's other tequilas that you drink when you like the taste of them. So he gets there, introduces his friends to her. None of them get up, so she sit down. And I said, "Okay, if it were me, I would have been petty and just sat on the floor." And then they would have been like, "Oh no, miss, go ahead." And I would have been like, "Nah, it's okay. I'm gonna sit here." And so then he goes in and she's like, "Oh my God, I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was that good." And I wanted to hear it. And they were in the most rinky dink studio I've ever seen. But listen, it gets the job done as long as it pays the bills. So then they go to buy a suit. He tells his homeboy, get y'all
wait,
suits together. And one of the homeboys is like, "Listen, Cameron."
can't we do the rap? I wrote it down.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So it's like, he gets okay. So he listen. In the studio, he doesn't drink right away. He does do the work first. So that part of it, I was like, well, he's professional. Now he definitely gonna pop bottles immediately afterward, but it's because he had done something. So his rap, and obviously I'm not a rapper, so you're gonna really have to like.
No, you're not a rapper. You always say, "Obviously, I'm not a rapper." This is the third time you said it since we've done this season, and every time I hear it, I think to myself, "Chris, we know you're not a rapper," but you're like, "Guys, obviously, I'm not a rapper."
Okay, fine.
At this point, you are. Just say you are. She is a rapper, guys.
How you love me, but you hate me at the same time. I'm on parole, so I've been walking on a straight line. Diamonds in my watch. Face. Okay, so parts of it, I will tell you, there's two parts. I
No,
did not
continue.
know the words. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I rewound it over and over again. So diamonds in my watch exists, but then he goes, face on, waste time, maybe?
Face on. I think it's FaceTime. I think he said something about FaceTime, or maybe like waste on FaceTime.
I
Faced on FaceTime.
face on
Mm.
waste time. She asked me what my sign was. I said a gang sign. I was chilling. Only only with your feet up. You ain't trapping. Okay, so his flow is fun. He has a little bit of like grit to it. So he does these kind of like, how Luda can kind of like dig into a word and like give you something with it. He does that, which is great. But, he is, like I've said, such a very fun character. He has like star power, like he's gonna do, anyway. So I think he's a star, and I think that he's like a pretty okay rapper. I mean, I think I'd have to hear him like a little more. This is okay, Um,
We have you seen the stuff on Instagram where he's like mad at all of the quote unquote vloggers for talking about him? Did I read it to you? It was hilarious because I'm like, Cameron, why aren't you using us to your best ability? I mean, and also, are you talking about us? Like, who are you talking about when you're referring to these vloggers? Like, that is such a weird term to use because nobody who talks about these shows does vlogs.
yeah,
Vlogs is a very specific
yeah.
type.
He should have just called us Vine stars.
I know. It was just like so weird. It's just like vloggers. I'm like, how old are you? How old are you that you don't know? Let me try to find it. Oh my god, where is it? Anyways, Go ahead. I'll
Okay,
read it
so
after.
let me so then they go, okay, after the tuxedo shop where they're going to meet his sisters, which I love Cameron's sisters. And then
Yep.
it's like, because I obviously are love him. He's a cool character. And so when I meet his sisters, I was like, oh holy shit, your whole family is like funny. I feel like your holidays are hilarious. I feel like I don't know. They're just funny. They're funny people. I can't explain it more than they're very expressive. I this sounds like I'm trying to not say something other than, but they're hilarious. Like
Okay, here, let me read it. Man, these vlogs really hate me. I ain't even did shit but be me. Motherfuckers said I look rough fresh out of prison. Duh, I was literally released from solitary confinement and I was supposed to be fresh as hell. Hell yeah, I want my girl to sit on my face first thing when I get out. That's all I thought about for 30 months. What was we supposed to do? Go fishing? I won't even get started on the dirty comments. As much as y'all stalk our pages, motherfuckers can obviously see I'm a certified dripper on the everyday, so that's irrelevant. Yeah, she took 10K out her 401k so I could have a budget for my biz, cause a real one gon' hold it down for they partner, and 10K not shit to a team of hustlers. real we made we made and spent that so many times as a unit since I've been home on date nights and house appliances. Eris is happy. My family is cohesive and healthy. We both working and thriving with plenty more surprises to come for the negative motherfuckers that and naysayers who swear I was going back to prison. I mean, just like run on sentences. I literally can't. But
this
he
person
just
feels like
keeps
he's on
talking
coke.
about the vloggers, and I'm just like, sir, what in the are you talking about? The vloggers?
Yeah, no, he sounds like he's on drugs. Like it sounds like it's like a coke run on sentences. Yeah. So let me just tell you. So the sisters come, right? And we meet one sister first, honey, and I think her name is Stephanie. Okay. So Stephanie has a shirt on. Okay, every person in the scene wears things that are ripped. I mean, it was like obviously the attire. You have to like rip something. A lot of it's jeans, but yeah, she just ripped down the front of her shirt. And I think there's like booby tape on one boobie and we can see a little bit. And they stay there the whole time, but like she just I've never seen this shirt. What?
I mean, listen, this is his sister because they look alike.
Yeah,
One, two,
yeah.
they have the same energy.
Look at the
Three,
still.
yeah, three, they came dressed and ready, and I loved it. I loved her shoes. They were platform,
There they are.
like blood, like bandanas shoes. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I just loved everything about it. I love the energies that the sister came in with. I love that they assumed positive intent initially,
Hmm.
and they're happy to see the brother happy. And I just love the black girl magic. It was just a really good like little scene. It was better than Monique and Derek's situation times 10. And I just want to see positivity. So
I
I
like
love
it
the way
when
that
wait,
they were
can I tell
like, we
the
got to
thing?
go get a dress. I loved it.
I like it when, okay, so they meet him and they're like nicer heiress at first, but then Cameron's like, yeah, we're here because we're getting married tomorrow. And yeah, the sisters are like, what? They haven't seen him in like 3 years. So they're like, huh? And then Eris is like, I'm gonna give you some time. And then she walks away, and that one sister that's funny is like, is she pregnant?
Yeah.
Cameron's like, right then his other sister comes in, the older one. She's the one dressed like body dripping in milk, honey. That's the one in all white. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous.
I
So
mean,
I know. They did walk in with like a certain perfect like an energy that made me feel like holy shit, like it's very fun when you're all together. And I don't know how often that happens, but can I be can I be there like a fly on the wall? So the older sister's like, congrats, so then Eris comes back and they are nice to her, like they don't, I think they also kind of realize that their brother is like, gonna do his own thing. I'm sure this isn't the first time that he's said something that they wouldn't initially think or agree with or whatever. So we also learn that where Eris is coming from is, yeah, like she knows that it's fast, but and because Cameron hasn't met her daughter yet, they're going to meet after this tuxedo thing. But Eris's daughter's father doesn't live in the country. So
Yeah.
she's sort of hoping that Cameron can somewhat easily take on like a fatherly role.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm not gonna say that my brother isn't gonna be a good dad, but you know, we're all mothers. And I thought that was a fair little comment to make. I liked it.
Hmm. That's all I have to about them.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to we already talked about them, thank God. Oh, we already talked about them, thank God. Oh, Justine and Michael.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
Yes. All right, let me get their picture up. So those of you guys who are watching on Patreon because you're want to support us, we love you so much. Patreon.com/DocuSweeties can see this amazing photo that we have of these two, and especially this photo of this hottie hots.
Who is wearing the same shirt Andre wears in the tell-alls for Happily Ever After? I don't know who makes that shirt. If it's a production
Express.
shirt, how come no Express?
It's an Express shirt.
Oh.
Yeah. The internet, Instagram vloggers already did the research, and I saw it a couple weeks ago. Yes, as soon as Andre came out with that shirt on, somebody immediately posted it and was like, not only is it not the same, it's only is it the same shirt that Michael wears, it's also from Express, and they showed how much it cost and what the name of it was. So we loved it.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
do
so
love
it's
it.
Justine and Michael. So Michael is like talking to his daughter Nova, and he's doing her hair, I think, and then Justine is doing his hair or something. It was real cute. There's a lot of kids in the home.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, how was the oldest daughter in the home the one who they fought over, Melody, or was it just the two 3-year-olds or the two
Yeah.
6-year-olds?
It seemed like only the younger ones.
Yeah. And so then his mother and sister pull up. Justine pulls them aside to have a woman to woman conversation with them. But Michael's like, no, I want to be there. And I loved it. I love that
Me
he was there
too.
to support her in that. And he's like, listen, y'all can fight later, just not right now. And the mother is still on some high horse shit. And then also, I was weirded out because Justine was like, I know what they're trying to do, trying to make me seem like I'm some angry black woman. And I was like, oh, you think you consider yourself black? Great, too. Do you not consider them black? Because they are.
I couldn't wait. I was like, what's Wong gonna say about that? You know, like, yeah, yeah. Only it's interesting for me because there's so many cultures are so different, and this is like a East Coast. Yeah, the East Coast, black people and East Coast DR people, and the way it's very, it's just interesting.
It's just weird to me that someone that is black could just be so indoctrinated with like colonization that they will look at other black people in the diaspora and say, I'm not black, I'm Spanish. And I want to say, then go the fuck to Spain and see what they have to say about your Spanishness. Like, because you are not Spanish. You are whatever you are. You're Dominican Republican, but racially, you are native to whatever the native is, and you are Afro. So, like, it's so stupid to me. Anyways, so they kind of make up, but not really, because the mom is still like, I feel disrespected. And I'm like, you can continue to feel disrespected, but the truth is that you disrespected Justine as well. I don't like the way she handled it, but you did. You were, you did something rude to her. So
I'm happy Justine did it because listen, the truth of the matter is it's like now Michael's mom knows. She can't fucking say shit without she has to watch her tongue. Also, there's another part of me that's like, yeah, but Justine, she doesn't even live in Rhode Island. I mean, she doesn't live here. She lives in Rhode Island. So you could have just been like, I'll never see you again. He's not gonna see you for 60 days anyway. Bye. Whatever, God bless.
Yep.
She's
You know
wearing
what
a
I'm gonna tell
onesie.
you is last episode we talked about the Rhode Island rappers. There was a show on I think HBO. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a show about Cardi B and a couple of other rappers like getting together and pooling. It was a competition reality show about rappers. and one of the rappers from it was from Rhode Island, and his name was like Flossy Floss or something like that. He was fine. He was really good, but who actually won that was D Smoke. And I follow D Smoke on Instagram, but he was like the biggest thing to come out of that show. And so I was like, when I looked it up to see who else was from Rhode Island, I saw his name and I was like, oh yeah, he is from Rhode Island. So I know 2 rappers from Rhode Island.
Flossy.
Yeah.
Wait, Justine loves a onesie. Like, okay, so in this scene, she is wearing like a black onesie, like Catwoman outfit. Like, I just thought it was a thing when she picked him up, and now I realize like Justine toggles between sweatpant outfit and just tight ass bodycon onesie. And in this like one piece onesie catsuit, it has like red piping. It looks like she just got off her job being like a stunt performer in Hollywood where she was like hanging behind like a green screen and she was in this outfit like doing some sort of thing, and like it'll look like, you know, a sci-fi thriller at some point when you actually watch it, like she's flying through space. Like, it's so interesting. She has a little aside where she talks about like, yeah, so it was Michael's idea to do the matching clothes. No, it wasn't mine. Everyone thinks it's mine, but it was his idea. I just buy them. And so, and then it shows us like clip of Michael being like, I like these matching clothes. And her being like, mm-hmm. And she's like, but it's always good because people know we're together.
I love matching. I think that I love that he loves it. I'm happy for her. If I ever got in a relationship with somebody that
You could do this too. You could push this on. You would do it. I was like, how is she gonna? You could push this on. You
also that I'm like somebody who I would want to drag attention to us. Like I could very well get with somebody who I'm like, people don't need to know we're together. People don't need to know that. But then I could get with somebody who I'm like, yeah, I want us people to see us matching. Like, you know, it depends. Like, you know, do I? Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like she like had to like second guess her own self mid.
I was like, not every person would I want to match with. Just a very specific type who like was hot and like wore a gold chain. So I think that her outfits are very fashion nova. Like if I had a body like her, I'd be wearing bodycon onesies all the time as well. So we move on to him going to figure out his probation and stuff like that. This man has parole for 20 years. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That is like, I was like, wow. Does Travis have parole for 20 years? Like, I don't like, I just want to know. This feels racial. This feels racist to me. This is egregious. 20 years. This man says that he needs to call his parole officer if anyone even sees him around a police officer. Now, I know that maybe the restrictions will lessen, but I mean, like Meek Mills had a long parole situation as well. And then he ended up getting caught up because he went to go do a show in another state and like, I guess didn't tell his parole officer, but like you can't hold somebody for that long. Like, I feel like 7 is the max. 7 years, the max. 20 years. What is it that he's not allowed to do?
All of this. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. 20 seems like a lot. It seems like if it's 20, if you don't trust someone for 20 years, then why is this person, I mean, like in my mind, is he should be back in prison? Not him, but like, I don't understand the concept of.
No, it's Chris, it has to be racist.
Okay,
it has to be. Because like there is no reason to have somebody on parole for 20 years. Are there even going to be parole officers who are going to watch him for the next 20 years? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah.
Robots.
Like he's
Cameron,
just,
yeah.
Go ahead. I mean, it's just.
Sorry, Cameron, because I think that in this episode, I said there was a theme of like parole officers. Cameron's on parole for 2 years. So we learn about the 20 years first. And so, yeah, it's shocking when he says that. And Cameron's on parole for 2 years. And they have the one similar thing is they can't leave the state for 60 days. But I mean, Michael's mindset about it is remarkably positive, even though it's realistic. You know, like
he's sad.
Like, it's sad. Yeah, it is sad. Like that. It was shocking. It was shocking.
I think you're absolutely right that if you want to give somebody parole for 20 years, then why have you let them out so early? Like, what I want to know what the details is. He going to have to ask every time he wants to leave the state, or is he only going to have to ask every time he wants to leave the country? Like, and also, was his crime an international crime? Like, what is I don't know. Does he need to check in once a month, once every quarter? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it is egregious, and it needs to, maybe he can kind of maybe he can lawyer up in a couple of years and get it removed.
I don't, in my mind is, and I don't know, maybe I should look. This can't just be drug related. It had he I mean, there had to have been some sort of deaths involved in his case for that to be what's happening. I'm assuming. I just don't, but you know what? I don't I'm assuming, and I should do the research. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know, but it was shocking when she said it. And they are sad because he can't visit his kids. And it also, he has one other thing is that he casts a curfew at 9 p.m.
How long is that gonna last? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm just so upset. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's true, especially because he, wants to make money as a rapper, and, like, 9 p.m., like, there's not a lot of live shows you can do, like, there's not a lot of, there's just a lot of things that happen for him in that way. So
Justine feels
also,
like she's doing the time with him as well,
yeah,
because it puts her life on hold. And I agree, but again, I need them to get a better lawyer, and I need them to do what they have to do, because 20 years is insane.
seems like a lot. Seems like a lot. All right, my love.
We did it.
Yeah, I was like looking through. It's because we didn't have any Ashley and Travis, which was, I mean, listen, it's sad because what a crazy couple. And they did give us a little peek about what we kind of assumed may be her secret. Did you see the previews for the next one? Well,
Mm.
okay, so
I had to buy the episode because my WeTV app wasn't working. YouTube pretended to have the episode, but every time you clicked into the episode, it was either last week's episode or the episode from the week before. It was very wild this morning. I have the WeTV app. Like, I purposely got it, and like
all
figured,
black.
no, the WeTV app.
But babe, only because they keep saying that that it's on all black. I don't even, is it on the WeTV app? I don't think it
Yeah,
is.
it's on the WeTV app.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, so if you like have access to cable, which I do, and you put in your password, you can, because the other episodes were available. The episode from last week was available, and then
Got it.
this one was showing, and I went to do it, and it's like error, blah 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 blah. So it's like, do I get all black? Here's the good news: is that if this ever happens again, Google, if I just like Google it, Google Play or whatever, has the episode for $1.99, and I was like, oh, okay, I can spend $2 in this episode.
And no commercials. You see everything.
Mhm.
Oh,
Crystal
great. Well,
clear. Yeah, so I didn't have that. I didn't have what I had last episode where I'm like, yeah, I didn't see the first part of it. Yeah, I know I saw the full thing.
oh, good. Yeah. Okay. So obviously, yeah, I'm very excited to see Ashley's secret with Travis, which we had probably been able to all assume was that she is in some sort of monetary distress because he's conversely and hilariously so excited to be out of prison and spending her money, which is for all of his dreams that he wants to come true and all his schooling.
Yep.
And there's just like, there's something that happens where she's out $40,000 or something. I don't know, but like to watch him deal with that is just, I can't wait, babe. Can't wait. Okay. So don't hold it against me. That's where we are. I'm excited to, continue watching this season with Wa and all of you. Thank you so much for listening wherever you have been listening. If you want to see us in a free way, get your ass to our social medias, my love. You're welcome to follow us if you'd like, and like all of our posts at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, and at DocuSweeties1 on Twitter, which, by the way, I tweeted last night. So go ahead, Wa.
Yes. If you would like to see the visuals of what you're hearing right now, you could join us on patreon.com/DocuSweeties. It is $10 a month. We do a live every first Monday of the month where we talk about, who's its and what's its and whatever might be going on. Except for February might be a little delayed. So we'll keep you abreast on what's going on with that. But yeah, otherwise it's a good time. You get this episode immediately. So right now it is Saturday, January 21st at 11:40 a.m. Central Time, and those of you who are on the Patreon will get this episode by at least 12:15 Central Time. So it's all the good stuff too.
Yep.
Thanks so much for joining us, you guys. We really appreciate you rocking with us. There's so much content and so much stuff coming up. Some of the things will be on the free feed, which is where you're listening to this. Some of the things will only be in Patreon, where you're visually seeing this. So we appreciate your support, and anything you can do. Don't forget to give us 5 stars if you're rating this. Share us with your friends or on any social media platform that you want, and we will appreciate it. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.